I, 21F, never thought I would be writing this post, but here I am. My husband Arnold, 21M, and I got married 6 months ago after dating since we were 18. We met in high school when we were both seniors. He was the quiet kid who sat behind me in chemistry class. We started talking when we were paired up for a lab project, and things just clicked. Within a few months, we were inseparable. Some background about our families is important here. Arnold's dad Tom is actually his stepdad, but Arnold always called him dad since Tom married his mom Sarah when Arnold was 2. Arnold's biological father abandoned them when Arnold was still a baby, and he has no memories of him. Tom has always been emotionally distant and sometimes cruel to Arnold. Growing up, Arnold would tell me stories about how he desperately tried to get Tom's approval, but nothing was ever good enough. Tom would promise to attend Arnold's football games but never show up. He'd promise birthday gifts but forget. He even forgot Arnold's high school graduation. When Arnold got a football scholarship to a state college, Tom convinced him not to take it, saying sports were a waste of time. Sarah, Arnold's mom, always made excuses for Tom, saying he was just busy with work or had a lot on his mind. She's one of those women who can't stand up to her husband, so she just enables his behavior. My family, especially my dad Mike, has been different. My parents welcomed Arnold from day one. When he started coming over to our house, my dad noticed how Arnold's eyes would light up whenever my dad showed interest in his life or asked about his plans. It was like Arnold was starving for paternal attention. Last year, when Arnold wanted to enlist in the military, Tom refused to help with the paperwork or getting Arnold's medical records. He said it was a stupid idea and that Arnold would probably fail anyway. My dad stepped in and spent weeks helping Arnold gather everything he needed. He treated Arnold like a son, taking him to appointments and helping him study for the tests. My mom Linda would pack lunches for Arnold when he came over to work on enlistment stuff with my dad. My younger sisters Amy and Beth adored him too. Beth was going through a rough time in middle school with bullying, and Arnold would pick her up from school sometimes just to make sure she got home safe. Amy had a dance recital last year, and Arnold showed up with flowers, something Tom never did for his own daughter Emma's performances. Arnold and I are currently living apart. I'm finishing college in Oregon while he's at tech school in Washington. We keep our finances separate for now since we have different expenses, but Arnold makes significantly more money than I do at his part-time job. He works at a tech company doing basic IT work, making about $25 an hour, while I make minimum wage at the campus bookstore. He often sends me money to help with my expenses, which I appreciate. For Christmas this year, we decided to buy joint gifts for our family since we're married now. I have 6 people to buy for: my parents, 3 sisters, and grandma, while Arnold has 3, his mom, stepdad, and sister. Arnold offered to pay for my family's gifts since he makes more money, which seemed fair at the time. Yesterday everything fell apart. Arnold called to tell me he bought his stepdad Tom a $900 gaming computer. He spent hours picking out the perfect components and even paid extra for express shipping to make sure it arrived before Christmas. This is the same man who didn't even come to our wedding because he said he had to work, even though we later found out he just went fishing with his buddies. Then Arnold told me about his mom's gift, a $500 designer bag she had been eyeing at the mall. For his sister Emma, he bought a $300 pair of limited edition shoes she wanted. The total for his family's gifts came to $1,700. Meanwhile, he only sent me $200 total to buy gifts for my entire family, the people who have supported him unconditionally for years. I was stunned. My dad, who spent countless hours helping Arnold with his military paperwork when Tom wouldn't, is getting a $40 grilling set. My mom, who treated Arnold like a son and still sends him care packages at school, is getting a $30 scarf. My sisters are getting $25 gift cards each. My grandma, who always includes Arnold in family dinners and sends him holiday cookies, is getting a $20 photo frame. The total for my family's gifts isn't even half what Arnold spent on Tom's computer alone. When I brought this up to Arnold, he got defensive. He said I was being materialistic and that gift prices shouldn't matter. He claimed he was trying to build a better relationship with Tom through the expensive gift. I reminded him how Tom still barely speaks to him even after 3 years of us being together. At our wedding, Tom spent more time talking to the bartender than his own stepson. Arnold then accused me of trying to control his spending and said I was jealous of his family. He said I couldn't understand the complicated dynamics between him and Tom. When I pointed out how Tom has never shown Arnold any real love or support, Arnold snapped at me. He said I was trying to turn him against his family and that I should be grateful he was spending any money on my family at all. The argument got worse from there. I pointed out how my family has shown Arnold more love and support in 3 years than Tom has shown in his entire life. My dad taught Arnold how to change his car oil, helped him file his taxes, and even co-signed his first credit card because Tom refused. My mom has never forgotten his birthday and always makes his favorite meals when he visits. My sisters look up to him like a big brother. Arnold shot back that I would never understand his relationship with his stepdad and that I should stay out of it. He said my family was trying too hard and that it made him uncomfortable. When I asked him to explain what he meant, he just got more angry and hung up on me. I'm hurt and confused. This isn't about the money, it's about the blatant disrespect toward my family. My parents and sisters have bent over backward to welcome Arnold into our family. They've supported his dreams, helped him achieve his goals, and shown him genuine love. Yet he's willing to spend a fortune trying to buy Tom's affection while treating my family's gifts as an afterthought. I haven't spoken to Arnold since our argument. He texted me saying I'm overreacting and that we can talk about it when I calm down. But I don't feel like I'm overreacting. I feel like this situation has revealed some deeper issues in our marriage that I can't ignore. Am I wrong for feeling this way? Should I just let this go since it's his money? I need some outside perspective because right now, I feel like I'm going crazy. Update 1: Things have gotten much worse since my last post. After our argument about the Christmas gifts, Arnold and I barely spoke for a few days. He would send brief texts asking if I had calmed down yet, which only made me more upset because he was acting like I was being irrational. I focused on my finals week and tried not to think about the whole situation. Then last week, something unexpected happened. Arnold's sister Emma called me crying. At first, I thought something had happened to Arnold, but what she told me was much more complicated. She had been keeping secrets about what was really going on with Tom and Arnold, and she couldn't stay quiet anymore. Emma started by telling me about conversations she had overheard between Tom and Arnold over the past few months. Tom had been systematically manipulating Arnold, using techniques he had apparently read about in some book about psychological control. Every time Arnold would visit home, Tom would pull him aside for what he called father-son talks. During these talks, Tom would plant seeds of doubt about my family and our marriage. According to Emma, Tom told Arnold that real men needed to prove their worth through grand gestures and expensive gifts. He specifically mentioned that $900 computer several times, telling Arnold that successful sons buy their fathers nice things. Tom would compare Arnold to his friends' sons, saying things like John bought his dad a boat last year or Mike got his father a Rolex for Christmas. Emma said Arnold would leave these talks looking defeated and anxious. But it went deeper than just the gifts. Tom had been telling Sarah, Arnold's mom, that my parents were trying to control Arnold through kindness. He twisted every nice thing my family did into something sinister. When my dad helped Arnold with his military paperwork, Tom told everyone it was because my dad wanted to show Tom up and make him look like a bad father. When my mom sent Arnold care packages at school, Tom said she was trying to make Sarah look neglectful. The most disturbing part was how Tom manipulated Arnold about our living situation. Emma overheard him telling Arnold that wives who live separately from their husbands usually end up cheating. He would show Arnold random articles about college cheating statistics and make comments about how Oregon has a lot of attractive college guys. Then he would casually mention how Sarah had stayed home with him their whole marriage, implying that I was somehow less devoted for finishing my education. Emma broke down crying when she told me about a conversation she overheard last week. Tom was pressuring Arnold to move back home after tech school instead of joining me in Oregon as planned. He told Arnold that I was becoming too independent and that college was filling my head with feminist ideas. Tom even suggested that the reason I was upset about the Christmas gifts was that I was probably spending my money on another guy at school. I was shaking with anger as I listened to Emma. She said she was telling me all this because she saw what Tom did to their mom, how he isolated her from her family and friends until she became completely dependent on him. Emma was worried Tom was trying to do the same thing to Arnold, and by extension, to me. After talking to Emma, I called Arnold. At first, he denied everything and accused Emma of lying because she was jealous of his relationship with Tom. But as I repeated specific details that Emma had told me, Arnold got quieter. Finally, he broke down and admitted it was all true. Arnold told me he had been struggling with Tom's manipulation but didn't know how to tell me. He said Tom had threatened to cut him off from his mom and sister if he didn't prove his loyalty to the family. The expensive gifts weren't just about Christmas, they were a test Tom had set up to see if Arnold would choose his family over me and my family. But then the conversation took an unexpected turn that broke my heart. Arnold, instead of recognizing Tom's manipulation, started defending him. He said maybe Tom was right about us getting married too young. He suggested that living apart wasn't healthy for our marriage and that my family was too involved in our lives. When I reminded him how Tom had hurt him throughout his childhood, Arnold said I was being unfair and that Tom was just trying to toughen him up. The final blow came when Arnold suggested we take a break. He said he needed time to figure things out with his family without me interfering. When I asked what figuring things out meant, he said Tom had offered him a job at his company after tech school, but only if Arnold moved back home. The job offer came with conditions. Arnold would need to cut contact with my family because Tom said they were a bad influence. I was stunned. The sweet, caring boy I fell in love with, who used to see through Tom's manipulation, who would get angry at how Tom treated his mom, was now completely under his control. Arnold even started questioning whether my family's kindness was genuine. He said Tom made some good points about how strange it was that my parents helped him so much, suggesting maybe they just did it to make Tom look bad. When I hung up the phone, I felt like I was losing my husband to a cult. Tom had somehow managed to twist everything good in our lives into something suspicious and dark. The worst part was watching Arnold willingly accept this twisted reality where my loving family was the enemy and his manipulative stepdad was the hero. I haven't responded to Arnold's last message where he asked for space. Emma keeps texting me updates about how Tom is already planning Arnold's future without me in it. She says Tom is even talking about setting Arnold up with his business partner's daughter once Arnold agrees to end our marriage. I never thought our Christmas gift disagreement would uncover something this dark. I'm scared for Arnold, but I'm also starting to wonder if our marriage can survive Tom's manipulation. How do you help someone who doesn't want to see they're being manipulated? Update 2: I discovered something that shattered whatever remained of my trust in Arnold. I was helping my mom organize her emails. She's terrible with technology and had over 10,000 unread messages. While sorting through them, we found an email thread from last summer between my dad and Arnold. Reading those emails made me physically sick. Arnold had reached out to my dad 3 months before our wedding, desperately asking for a $5,000 loan. In the emails, he painted a picture of wanting to start our married life on the right foot. He told my dad about his plans to save the money for a down payment on a small house where we could live together after I finished college. He even attached a spreadsheet showing how he would pay the money back over 2 years. My dad, being the kind person he is, agreed immediately. He wrote that he trusted Arnold and was happy to help us start our life together. The money was transferred the next day. Arnold never mentioned this loan to me, not once in all these months. I thought I knew everything about our finances, even though we kept them separate. After finding these emails, I went straight to our joint storage unit where we keep important documents. I found Arnold's old laptop that he stopped using a few months ago. The password was still my birthday. What I found in his email account destroyed me. There were emails between Arnold and Tom from around the same time. Tom had gotten into trouble with gambling debts, serious trouble. He owed money to some dangerous people and was desperate. He had manipulated Arnold by telling him that if the debts weren't paid, these people would come after Sarah and Emma. Arnold, terrified for his mom and sister's safety, went to my dad for the loan. But that wasn't even the worst part. I found recent emails about the Christmas gift scheme. Those expensive gifts Arnold bought for his family? They were never meant to be gifts at all. Tom had convinced Arnold to buy high-end items they could easily return for cash. The $900 computer, the $500 designer bag, the $300 shoes, they were all part of a plan to get more money for Tom's gambling habit. I confronted Arnold over the phone. At first, he tried to deny everything, but when I started reading the emails back to him, he broke down. He admitted that Tom had been using him to get money for months. The $5,000 from my dad went straight to Tom's gambling debts. The Christmas gifts were just the latest scheme in a long line of financial manipulation. Arnold tried to justify his actions by saying he was protecting his mom and sister. He claimed Tom had shown him photos of bruised people who hadn't paid their debts on time. He said he was too ashamed to tell me about the loan from my dad because he knew I would try to stop him from helping Tom. When I told my dad about finding the emails, his reaction surprised me. He wasn't angry about the money. Instead, he was sad. He said he had suspected something was wrong when Arnold asked for the loan but wanted to trust him. What broke my dad's heart wasn't the lost money, but the fact that Arnold had used his kindness and trust against him. The next day, Emma called me again. She revealed that Tom's gambling problems were worse than ever. He had been losing thousands of dollars betting on sports through illegal betting sites. The dangerous people he owed money to weren't actually that dangerous, they were his poker buddies trying to scare Arnold into giving them money. I also learned that Tom had been lying about his job situation. He had told Arnold he could get him a position at his company, but Tom had actually been unemployed for months. Sarah had been keeping the family afloat with her nursing job while Tom gambled away their savings. The final straw came when Emma sent me screenshots of texts between Arnold and Tom. They were already planning their next scheme. Arnold was supposed to ask my grandparents for a loan using our plans to move to Oregon as an excuse. Tom had it all mapped out, including a fake rental agreement they could show as proof. I spent hours crying after seeing those texts. The man I married, who I thought was a victim of his stepdad's emotional abuse, was actively participating in schemes to defraud my family. Every time I thought I had uncovered the full extent of their deception, something new and worse came to light. Looking back, I feel so naive. All those times Arnold defended Tom, all those expensive gifts, his sudden interest in building a better relationship with his stepdad, it was never about family at all. It was about money, manipulation, and lies. I've spoken to a lawyer about my options. Given that we kept our finances separate and haven't been married long, they said a divorce should be relatively straightforward. I just never imagined I would be planning my divorce less than a year into my marriage, all because my husband chose his manipulative stepdad schemes over our future together. Update 3: Today would have been our first wedding anniversary. Instead, I'm sitting in my lawyer's office, signing the final divorce papers. The last 6 months have been a roller coaster of emotions and revelations, but I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. After discovering Tom's gambling schemes and Arnold's involvement in them, I moved out of my apartment near college and went to live with my older sister Amy. I couldn't focus on my studies knowing Arnold could show up at my old place anytime. The university was understanding and let me finish my semester online. Arnold didn't take my decision to divorce him well. At first, he bombarded me with messages begging for another chance. He claimed he could explain everything and that he would cut ties with Tom. But a week later, Emma told me the truth: Arnold had moved back home with Tom and Sarah. He dropped out of tech school because he missed too many classes dealing with Tom's drama. His dream of a military career is completely destroyed now because of his involvement in Tom's gambling schemes. The situation got worse when Tom started using Arnold's credit cards to place online bets. Emma said Arnold's credit score is ruined now. He lost his part-time IT job because he kept missing shifts to help Tom deal with his gambling buddies. Last month, Arnold hit rock bottom and started drinking heavily, just like Tom. 3 weeks ago, Arnold called me at 2 a.m., clearly drunk. He started crying about how he messed everything up and asked if I could loan him $10,000 to help Tom one last time. He said some guys were threatening to tell Sarah about Tom's secret gambling debts unless they got their money. I hung up and blocked his number. Later, Emma confirmed it was just another scam. Tom had lost money betting on horse races and was trying to use Arnold to get more funds. My family has been incredibly supportive through all this. My dad never pursued the $5,000 loan, saying Arnold's betrayal of trust was punishment enough. My sisters helped me move my things out of storage, and my mom has been helping me apply to graduate schools far away from Washington State. The divorce proceedings were surprisingly smooth since we had kept our finances separate and had no joint property. Arnold didn't contest anything. He was too busy dealing with Tom's latest crisis to even show up for the mediation sessions. His mom Sarah signed the papers on his behalf with his permission. Last week, Emma sent me a long message. Tom is now pressuring Arnold to reconcile with me. Not because he cares about our marriage, but because he needs access to my family's money again. Apparently, Tom found out that my dad recently sold his business for a good profit, and he sees me as their ticket to getting their hands on some of that money. Arnold actually tried to reach out through a new number, talking about how much he misses me and how we could start fresh somewhere away from Tom. I just laughed and blocked that number too. I also blocked Tom's number after he had the nerve to send me a long text about how families should stick together during hard times. The only response I sent was a link to Gamblers Anonymous, which probably wasn't mature of me, but it felt good. Sometimes late at night, I wonder if I could have done something differently. Maybe if I had recognized the signs earlier or pushed Arnold harder to stand up to Tom. But then I remember what my dad told me: you can't help someone who chooses their own destruction. Arnold chose Tom's toxic influence over our marriage, and I chose to value myself enough to walk away. Sarah called me yesterday to apologize for everything. She's finally filing for divorce from Tom after discovering he remortgaged their house without her knowledge to pay gambling debts. Emma is moving in with her aunt to get away from the whole situation. At least something good came out of this mess. 2 women finally found the strength to walk away from Tom's manipulation. As for me, I'm focusing on finishing my degree and planning my move to California for graduate school. Sometimes the best thing you can do is close the door on your past and walk away without looking back.